So after we add decimals, they're going to have you subtract decimals. On this first one, they lined it up all nice and neat for you. Remember keeping in mind that the decimals and all the place values should be lined up right nice in order here. And so they have 63.12, 19.38. Can't take 8 away from 2, so I borrow, make that 0, and this 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. Can't take 3 away from 0, so I make that 2, and that becomes 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. The decimal comes down. Can't take 9 away from 2, so that becomes 5, and this becomes 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. 5 minus 1 is 4. So I get 43.74 when I find the difference between the two numbers. Number 11, Alice Taylor uses her automobile for both business and personal use. During the month of March, she drove a total of 2,637.2 miles. Her mileage for her personal use was 1,677.3. How many miles did she drive for business? So if I know the total and the part that I use for personal use, again, I'm going to subtract to find how much I had left that was business use. So I have 2,637.2. I have 1,677.3. Again, my decimals should line up right above each other. If you happen to have extra numbers, add zeros on the end so that the numbers end out being spaced the same. So if this would have 2 digits, you'd want 2 digits down there after the decimal. But in this case, they lined up nice. And so I can go ahead and subtract. I can't take 3 away from 2, so I borrow and make that 6. This becomes 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. Here I can't take 7 away from 6, so I make that a 2, and so 16 minus 7, again, is 9. I better put my decimal point in there. Can't take 7 away from 2, so I borrow. That becomes 12. 12 minus 7 would be 5. Can't take 6 away from 5, so I borrow, and that becomes 15. 15 minus 6 is 9. So I get 959.9. And so again, I always like to double check. So 2637.2 minus 1677.3, we get 959.9, so we should have done it correctly. And the last one on this homework page, again we're subtracting and they lined it all nice. Notice the decimals are all lined up. Can't take 9 away from 4, so I borrow and make that a 2. So 14 minus 9 should be 5. Can't take 5 away from 2, so I borrow. That becomes 2. 12 minus 5 is 7. Bring down my decimal point. 2 minus 2, 0. 9 minus 8, 1. So I get 10.75.